Good afternoon. I'm Patrick Vitale, a member of the College Advisory Council in the class of 1993. It is my great honor to welcome you, the distinguished class of 2029, and all transfer students to the University of Chicago. The University of Chicago is truly one of the world's great universities, and you should feel a special pride having been admitted to the university and elected to matriculate here. Congratulations. I know you're excited about the journey that brought you to Rockefeller Chapel for opening Convocation, through which students formally enter UChicago. You are collectively the epitome of excellence on terms academic, leadership, athletic, and service. I remember the excitement I experienced during my convocation over 30 years ago, the anticipation of a new journey that took me from poverty in Brooklyn, New York, to studying with meaningful possibilities in Hyde Park. UChicago has been the great catalyst of discovery and opportunity in my life. What's foundational? I'm going to mention 3 key factors. 1, investing in relationships and friendship. I appreciate the support of faculty, staff, other students, and the push to be aspirational, bold in my studies and planning for the future. At one point, I fancied becoming a professor teaching political philosophy. Luckily, I had advisors, mentors, friends who basically had permission to advise me to suggest otherwise. Instead, I became a banker, and I've enjoyed a successful career in finance. The second point, be resilient and open. I believe my success on Wall Street is owed in part to the culture of this place. Learning the grit necessary to manage through the highs and lows of things, insecurity, imposter syndrome, in some cases even overconfidence. The power of learning, but also failing fast, so important, pivoting and rising again from disappointment, and ultimately positioning yourself for success. The third, agility. You will move through with pace, core and specialized curricula that demand excellence and mastery of a variety of subjects, yet capture the intrinsic value of the things that you love. While the university that I experienced many years ago was perfect for me. Extraordinary, in fact. I say this, the best version of the university is the one that exists today. Now, I have 2 children in the college, so I better be right about that. I'm confident I am. But for me, it's the best version in part because pedagogy remains at the very center of the UChicago experience. But also, we're more global. We're diverse in terms of our interests, our backgrounds. Our student organizations are strong. Our varsity and intramural sports teams are strong. There's a programmatic commitment to your community engagement and your professional development. We have an extraordinary faculty, some of the best students in the world, but we are so much more than just the life of the mind. Engage the city of Chicago through culture, career development, and service. I hope you take advantage of living in one of the world's great cities, which offers tremendous opportunities to explore the arts, culture, community service, science, to engage various industries, where you have many companies and firms that call Chicago home, their headquarters. Take advantage of this. Ground yourself in an experience beyond campus. I found doing community work working with those in need, was incredibly rewarding. It basically provided affirmation, but it was restorative for me to make a contribution and to give back. When I think about the class of 2029, you're facing a more complicated world than any that I could have imagined as a student. How will you ensure that you're able to hear various perspectives, truly see people, engage in a manner that's empathetic, to be able to speak to topics about which you're passionate, but listening and learning to ensure constructive dialogue and personal growth? How will you see yourself contributing to community, especially those with which you feel disconnected? But you're here, the class of 2029. At this very moment, you are one community. Invest in each other, build and thrive together, the dividends of which will pay out for many years to come. On behalf of all alumni, welcome to UChicago. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the person who, along with the Admissions Committee, is responsible for selecting all of you and composing such an amazing class. Please welcome Jim Nondoff, Vice President of Enrollment, Student Advancement. Jim.
Well, congratulations, you made it. Yes, yeah. I did tell you that everything would work out, and see, here you are. I believe that you will be the best class that I have ever admitted, hands down. Sorry, upperclassmen. And certainly U.S. News seems to think so too. Anyway. You are brilliant and accomplished, just like your upper class peers, and you are amazing. You are thoughtful and kind, and I'm going to do something I've never done before. I got an email from one of your siblings today, and I'm going to read a little bit of it. Oh, no, it's good. Dean Nondorf, thank you so much for sending me a UChicago sibling t-shirt. It was one of the most thoughtful gifts I've gotten. You are right. I wear his old jeans, sweatpants, t-shirts, and shorts all the time. I'm actually wearing one now along with my UChicago t-shirt. As I type this, I'm crying because I already miss my brother. He is such a great big brother who always cares about me and makes me laugh. I know he will do so well at UChicago, and this is the best place for him. This is an 8th grade sister, by the way. I will visit him as much as I can. I've even started saving money from my allowance for the plane ticket. Thanks again, sincerely, and I won't tell you who, because you'll all give your classmate a hard time about how awesome his sister is. But really, that is what defines you all. You are kind. You're wonderful siblings. You're wonderful people. And I can't say enough how excited we are to have you here. And so thank you for being so awesome this past year. We loved your essays too, so thanks for that. So I'm sorry there will be no outfit changes today, but I did wear my UChicago socks for anybody that would like to, have those. I'm also wearing my UChicago underwear, but I don't think I could show that. Okay, now on to the more serious part of this. Given your past achievements and future aspirations, I am sure that you will make incredible contributions to our campus and very soon to the entire world. And so, President Alivasatos, as the Dean of College Admissions and Financial Aid, I am pleased and incredibly proud to formally present to you and to Dean Hale the outstanding class of 2029. Let's go! And now it is my pleasure to introduce my boss and the president of the University of Chicago, Paul Alivasatos.
He's so low-key, isn't he? Okay, I'll offer my version. Welcome, class of 2029. We've been anticipating your arrival here. At last you're here. We've been waiting for months. Each of you has followed your own path to this special place, yet all of you have demonstrated excellence in learning and thinking. I'm thrilled you're here. It really fills me with happiness. Amongst you, all 50 states are represented. You come from places rural and urban, from many different walks of life. Some of you straight out of high school. Some of you have been engaged in extraordinary experiences out in the real world. There are some veterans here. Thank you for your service. I can confidently say that your talent is something that the whole of America can be proud of from sea to shining sea. And vitally, for all of us, some of the most brilliant minds from around the world, citizens of nearly 100 countries are counted here and now amongst you, enriching this extraordinary class of 2029. In my remarks, before I turn the floor over to your inspiring Dean of the College, Professor Melina Hale, she is awesome, I'm going to talk to you about some related themes of asking questions. I'm going to cover 3 topics. They're important. They matter deeply for your journey here in learning how to think. 2 of these issues are timeless, and 1 is of the moment. How to become skilled, genuinely skilled, at asking questions. How you should approach the advent of artificial intelligence, and the most important of all, why this institution is so deeply, foundationally committed to upholding free expression and what that means for you. My first visit to the quads was when I was actually 9 years old. It was brought by a family friend. I fell in love with it. I imagine that on your first visit here, you were struck by the beauty of the quads, much perhaps as my 9-year-old self. I am more in love with them today even than then. More than the faux neo-Gothic spires and gargoyles, which I find a bit kitschy, and the lovely landscaping that takes on different characters across the seasons. What inspires me is what the whole of those quads speak to. This is a compact, interconnected space. And inside of it, scholars devoted to every subject are deepening and expanding the scope of human knowledge and understanding. They don't do that separately from each other. Actually, they are in genuine and vital dialogue by the shortest paths between them. The geography itself is speaking to you. It's sending you a message for you to take in as you inhabit the space of the quads and it becomes yours. It was built very carefully. Here, you will learn the habits of mind and tools of humanists, social scientists, physical and biological scientists. You'll study a civilization, mathematics, and the craft of writing. Take care, please, take care, especially with the parts that will not be featured in your major or minor studies. Immerse yourself in all of those ways of thinking. That's an essential step in learning how to ask questions well, and therefore learning how to think. Embrace that. You will soon learn that the person most honored here is not the loudest voice or the quickest to speak, but the earnest scholar who asks questions in aid of taking each idea apart layer by layer. Open, rigorous, unafraid of what they might find, and committing to understanding in the deepest way possible. You will find that things move faster when you ask questions sincerely, from a desire to understand and to seek truth, not the applause of unmerited confirmation. Probe with curiosity strong enough to survive your own favorite answers. Let your learning flow from curiosity, humility, determination, and wonder. Let it be guided by joy, by discipline, and by rigor. All of this talk of asking the best questions begs yet another question. Can't we just skip to the answers? Today, you can ask questions in a genuinely new way. You can just ask a machine, an AI of one kind or another, which seeks to leverage past knowledge in service of the new. I suspect a few of you may have taken advantage of this under a wide variety of circumstances. Today's versions of AIs produce answers quickly with variable quality of results, sometimes astonishing, often bland, and too often for comfort, entirely wrong. Here too, I am sure you have experienced the art of the good sequence of questions, which can make all the difference in the quality of the outcome. These tools are new, and in the years ahead, they will continue to develop in ways we cannot even anticipate. As a scholar and a curious person myself, I find these developments exhilarating. Yours is the first generation who come here wanting to learn how to think, whose relationship to knowledge will be shaped differently than all those that came before you. Are these shortcuts that, if used, will forestall your learning? Are they powerful tools that let your intellect soar higher? Yes, and yes. Our faculty has been thinking hard about this, and they urge you to approach the use of machine learning-based tools in ways that are at once ethical, skeptical, and very, very ambitious. Some instructors are building entirely new approaches based on deep integration and reliance on these tools. In fact, in those classes, you may advance the cutting edge of those tools yourselves. Yet others are firm in their belief that you will learn much better by putting those tools aside in their class. It is the ethical thing for you to follow the rules of the road for AI use that each instructor issues. I mentioned to you that you will learn here to think as a humanist, a social scientist, a physical and biological scientist. Today, we see emerging a new way of thinking that will stand alongside those in time. It's one that leverages the computational and statistical lenses of thought. To be educated today, you will need to learn at least a little bit how to think in those ways, if only to be able to judge them critically. Our curricula already offers so many ways of learning this, even as our courses will evolve to embed this thinking more systematically in the years ahead. You and all students in the future will gain here the level of understanding for you to be skeptical as well as ambitious in this new era. Here is the take-home message. You came here to learn how to think. Today, that means learning how to think with machines and learning how to think without them. If you honor that approach, you will be the generation that soars well beyond the levels of knowledge we have ever imagined. There is one foundational principle that underpins our way of learning and that underpins this entire university. Of course, freedom of inquiry and expression. This is the central principle above all others. At this university, we prize these freedoms. While the give and take of dialogue across differences can be difficult to navigate, it is the essential skill for seeking knowledge and truths. By engaging in dialogue truly and deeply, you stand to learn so much from each other. Here, we argue hard, and we listen harder. So I ask that you bring candor and conviction to this endeavor. Extend the same grace to others. Welcome the exercise of dialogue, not ever with the aim of marginalizing or pushing away others, but to sharpen one another's ideas together. Yet, harmony is not the goal. The goal is truth-seeking, however fraught and hard. Here, people may say things you find deeply offensive. We will not punish them for their expression. Rather, we have set for you the conditions to refute bad ideas. So take the opportunity to contest them, take them apart. Help one another drive toward truth. To make that dialogue possible, we also hold fast to a basic limit. You may disagree, protest, and challenge ideas, but you may not prevent others from learning, speaking, or being heard. Passion is welcome. Preventing the conversation from happening is not. Enter disagreements with kindness and humility, and always be ready to hear another view. That is how understanding deepens. In your orientations, you have already been learning more about the rich history of free expression at this university. More will come in the days ahead and throughout your time here. I urge you to redouble your attention to this. These enduring commitments are essential to your education. They are the precondition for your success. We are proud to be your coaches, critics, mentors, guides, partners. We will forge enduring bonds while you are under our guidance and for a lifetime beyond. I can feel, it's a little hot in here, but I can feel the energy that comes from the possibility of what's there. for you to achieve during your time here and how it will lift you on your journeys ahead. I am excited to see what you will accomplish here and in the days after you have left these quads. In due course, I look forward to standing before you once again as you graduate, and I will have the honor of announcing to the world that the University of Chicago proudly welcomes you to the community of educated persons devoted to sharing gifts of knowledge with each other and the world. Welcome to the University of Chicago. And now, your spectacular Dean of the College, Professor Melina Hale.
Hello, everyone. Class of 2029, our students transferring into the classes of 2027 and 2028. We are so glad you're here, and it is my distinct privilege and pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the college community. Parents, families, we are glad you are here too and are honored to be with you in this momentous time in your lives. I also want to welcome the faculty and staff, and particularly our more senior students who have joined us today. Students, your more senior peers are phenomenal. So smart, creative, passionate, and caring. They support and advocate for one another and are proud of each other's accomplishments. We know you will fit right in and find friendship and guidance from them. President Alivisatos spoke to our foundational principles of free expression, and I'll come back to those briefly now. As a member of this community, I add that we are so proud of those principles and how steadfast the university has been in honoring them. Through our faculty and staff, yes, but also through our students, our alums, and our families. We fiercely protect our principles. We often talk about free speech as honoring all of our voices and views, free expression being our individual right to speak our minds, but in the context of college education, free expression is also particularly about the opportunity to listen, and free expression benefits the listener as much as, and perhaps even more than it does the speaker. President Alivisatos brought up listening. Honestly, I think we all as humans struggle with listening to others. And I mean real listening, not just to line up counterpoints in a debate, to win an argument, or to prove we're right, or that someone else is off base, but listening to understand the facts of the statement, but also the deeper contexts of them. We are human, and we bring our histories, our concerns, and our emotions to our expression. We are all learning and growing in our views. We have that ability to evolve our thinking or change our minds. The careful listener will understand that there's a broader context of the human that comes with the words. That means taking care of each other in the times we disagree, which we can feel vulnerable and exposed. That means gratitude for the willingness of others to challenge our views and to be open with their own. An important place to engage with free expression is in the core curriculum, our structured curriculum that relies heavily on primary texts and data. In the core, students learn content across disciplines and how to approach questions, evidence, and answers, how to think like a humanist and a scientist. William McNeil, a student in the core's first year, which was the 1933 to 34 academic year, wrote of it with a fascinating mix of youthful cynicism, of received wisdom, awe of professors and traditions, and excitement about being part of something revolutionary. Lightly paraphrasing, he said, "It was a coming of age for me. Week after week, new perspectives opened. Those who took or taught the course were never quite the same again. the world took a new shape, governed by the notion that human beings had accumulated amazing knowledge and skill across the centuries by using the power of reason to overcome irrational impulses and institutionalized ignorance. That was the very first iteration of the humanities core, the ancestral core course. But the core is not a static body of knowledge or texts, and certainly not anodyne introductions to fields. It evolves. The core is an invitation to learning and knowledge as our faculty see it, and to inquiry with the confidence to putting out ideas that might be wrong, but by their articulation, generously further discussion. We intentionally start with the humanities core. From our humanities division description of itself, the humanities gives us the tools we need to articulate deep truths about ourselves. And I would add ourselves as individual humans, and also our understanding of the human condition. The core will be valuable in your advanced coursework, but even more so for your life, your career, your personal development, and civic engagement, no matter where life takes you during or after college. Now, the United States has a big year coming up with our 250th anniversary. It is a time of reflection and of pride. College education in the United States has always been nested in the National Civic Project, and that responsibility continues to be critical today. I note that international voices of faculty and of students coming from abroad have always been essential additions to this work, and its link to the ever-growing importance of our global citizenship. In the country's early history, particularly in the 1700s and 1800s, a landscape of liberal arts colleges, often tied to religious denominations, prepared students for liberal professions, and specifically for the clergy. In the late 1800s, federal support of land-grant universities in the US increased access to college and broadening of education for disciplines particularly needed by society. The University of Chicago was founded in 1890, first and foremost as a research university. It flavored our own special college experience as one with classical grounding, but also one injected from the start with the excitement of new knowledge and deep engagement in emerging fields. True to its research ethos, as the college within a research university, we benefited from the insistence of intellectual rigor and the exhilaration of new ideas flying around us. That closeness to discovery has stuck well, hand in glove with free expression. We must test our perspectives and be discerning in the answers to our questions, paraphrasing our university motto, let knowledge grow and so enrich human life. Now, in the rush of new ideas in the early 1900s, the civic nature of higher education was not lost. The university maintained that steadfastness of purpose. Our extension school, now called the Graham School, was one of the founding units of our institution, and it increased accessibility beyond Hyde Park and into the outside of the regular canonical hours. In the college, civics and the study of human civilizations took more formal shape in that first half of our history. In 1923, the university's third president, Ernest DeWitt Burton, for all my BJers, your residence is his namesake, argued the following in his 1924 Convocation address. To achieve its purpose, the education of our youth must be vastly more than a process of impartation and acquisition of knowledge. It can hardly be said too often that the college must concern itself with the development of personalities to whom knowledge have added something called culture, and to culture, high ideals and strong character. The task of making for this republic citizens who will maintain its best traditions and meet its new responsibilities is a vast and serious one. The corps mentioned earlier that began in the 1930s had a part in fulfilling that task. And in years that followed, with the horrors and terrible losses of World War II and the Holocaust, reinforced a seriousness of purpose and appreciation for our freedoms. In the US, servicemen and women returning from the war with benefits of the GI Bill came to colleges across the US, most as first-generation college students, and at that time, nearly 50% of college students in the US were veterans. Our college veterans brought, and still do, a maturity, a sophistication of civic understanding through service, and for many, experience with other cultures abroad. Evolving from UChicago's 1940s, war-related Army Specialized Training School and Civil Affairs Training School, our College Civilizations Corps emerged and became a key cornerstone of our core curriculum in the 1950s, joining and complementing the disciplinary corps. In the words of its proposers, Civilizations Corps would not only familiarize a student with civilized traditions other than their own, and thus permit them a glimpse at the world and his own civilization as others see them, but might also enable them to understand better their own culture by comparing it with another. The civilizations requirements cemented an idea about education and citizenship that took seriously the challenge of the post-war world, a kind of liberal learning that is essential for a republic that looks not only internally, but also is receptive to the world and strengthened by its exchange with other parts of the globe. It addressed the importance of seeing how history has shaped other civilizations, both those proximate to and others farther away from our own. The Civilizations curriculum, to President Burden's charge, provides depth of understanding for acting wisely with character for one's own country, and also with a scope of action that includes humanity. So that was the first half of our college history, some 60 years out of 125, but we maintain and reinforce that curriculum and character built then to this day in our corps and in civilizations. I'll talk about another type of citizenship. You are now citizens in our beautiful city and neighborhood, and I hope you get out into it. Chicago is one of the world's greatest cities. Your neighborhood, Hyde Park, is beloved, and so many of us faculty, myself included, staff, and as well as, of course, other students, live in the blocks around your residences. There's so much to say about Chicago, but today, instead, I will focus on the campus community that you will be most immediately getting to know. Maybe you have come to college like McNeil in the 1930s, in a bit of awe at the traditions and suspecting that there are professors or students who have the life of the mind all figured out, with effortless success and easy brilliance. I want to assure you that it just does not work that way for anyone on campus, students, faculty, or deans. There is no one who pushes through every challenge without struggle. We all screw up sometimes. We all need help. And there is truly an admirable humbleness and confidence in asking for it. Across the college and university, there are staff excited to see you succeed and grow, not only as a learner, but also as a person. Academic advisors and tutors, professional in the Dean of Students office, all the wonderful people you have in your residential commons and houses, and many others are here to support you. I am too. While the college is always here for you, it is your world of friends, mentors, and peers who will be with you every step of the way. Make time for them, and remember that we all need to allow ourselves breaks for play and camaraderie. Cheering on the Maroons, participating in a club, attending an arts event or exhibition on campus, or just enjoying conversation over meals with your housemates. And sleep and calling home once in a while are important too. We shouldn't forget the obvious point that college is really fun, and having great community is a big part of that. You are all just fantastic, and we hope you have a great time here, as well as learning a lot. So I'll end with a note to parents who are marking an important transition of their own. Your love and support have made this moment possible, and you will continue to play a crucial role in seeing your student through the college. That role will be changed as they mature and show they are capable of things that you have always suspected and more. As a parent, I've experienced what you are going through today. My oldest is a recent graduate of the college, and I recall the bittersweetness of watching him process as an incoming student through Hull Gate. It's an unforgettable moment for any parent or loved one. In the days, weeks, and months up to this moment, there have just been so many things to do, from checking out the dorm room and buying supplies to navigating the neighborhood, all to confirm that our children are ready to thrive once we hug them and say goodbye. Today's ritual is a statement that your child is ready for the remarkable years ahead. As a parent or loved one, the sight of our class gathered together is a moment of pride and admiration. Your children are now UChicago students, and they really are a wonderful spark for the faculty, staff, and senior students who welcome them into the life of campus, full of curiosity, imagination, and resolve that have always distinguished the University of Chicago. I speak for all the college when I say that we share your pride and your confidence in our students and are excited to support and celebrate them and their accomplishments. Okay, this occasion closes with our ritual parting of ways. In a moment, the motet choir will sing our alma mater. Afterwards, students, we will process together through Hall Gate and then out to Stagg Field to take your class photograph. And finally, you will circle with your new friends and housemates for events in the residence halls. And for parents and families, you are warmly invited to join President Olivasados, myself, and other members of the faculty and staff and leadership for a reception in Hutchinson Courtyard. Welcome to our cherished community, and welcome to this academic year, and thank you.